Hello, I'm Trace,
And I'm Sam.
and we represent the Lollipop Guild, and this is From Our Perspective. Felt like if I went too long on that, we'd get copyrighted by Judy Garland's estate.
Yeah.
Because she wrote that whole musical, right?
I really don't think so. Also, it's based on a book.
No, I think she wrote the book, at least.
Okay, yeah, probably. You're probably right, and I'm probably wrong.
Who did actually write the book? I forgot.
Is that Tolkien?
Yes, J.R.R. Tolkien. It's meant to be put in between the first Lord of the Rings book and the second. It's like a Lion King 1.5.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't address this last week. Of course, we didn't record and we didn't say anything and we didn't let anyone know because it wasn't planned.
We just forgot. I don't know what happened.
We kind of just forgot, didn't we?
Yeah.
So what should be our 57th episode is now our 56th episode.
Well, that's okay.
But it's okay. Yeah, we made a plan to record. I was busy, so we said we'll do it tomorrow, and then we just forgot.
And we forgot until what was it? Wednesday?
It was recently. You text me and you were like, "Hey, do you remember we forgot to record, right?" And I was like, "Oh, we did, didn't we?"
Yeah.
So yeah, we're sorry about that, but
We're back.
We're back. We're better than ever. We kind of needed a little bit of a break, to be honest. Give us time to, chill out a little bit.
Yeah, because this podcast is really hard to do.
Oh my God, it's so goddamn hard.
It takes so much out of me.
Like as soon as the hour is up, I sleep for 3 days straight.
Yeah, I go into hibernation.
This is like the most I ever talk. But no, we just. It's it is a lot of talking. It's not like we're not saying it's like hard. We're not saying like we have.
It's not at all.
But it
does take time, I guess. That's the only thing.
We needed to be reinvigorated because I feel like
stop making excuses.
No, I just feel like again, it wasn't planned. But
well, whatever.
We're back. We're better. We're doing great. We saw the Sonic movie.
Sonic
the Hedgehog. Sonic movie.
That was something.
It was something. And I think that's how we described it right after we saw it.
That's the best way to describe it.
It is, because it's not good. It's not bad.
But it's not bad, yeah.
It's something.
It's something, all right.
I think the best, the actual best critique of the movie is that it's too safe. It doesn't because Sonic is already such a bizarre property.
Yeah, just have fun with it. They did a little bit.
I kind
of liked it.
They had a little bit of fun with it, and those were the parts where you're like, yeah. And then they didn't have fun with it. They just did this cookie cutter buddy movie. Yeah,
it's kind of like the plot of like you said, any sort of buddy, I would say a buddy cop movie, but they're not cops.
One of them is.
No, he's a cop, yeah.
The other one isn't. The other one's a hedgehog.
No, he's a hedgehog.
Those buddy cop hedgehog movies.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like any run-of-the-mill buddy comedy.
Yeah.
Because there was also a point where you looked over at me and you said, this is the part where they have to fight so that they can make up and become friends again.
Yeah, that happens in all these types of movies, so it has to happen in this one.
Yeah, and it did, and then they become friends again, and...
You know what's not in every movie?
What?
Jim Carrey being an absolute psychopath.
Oh my God, he was absolutely insane in this movie. Now, here's the thing. There's a new show, or it's not very new, but it's a recent show that's on Showtime. It's a Showtime original that stars Jim Carrey, and he's like this Mr. Rogers type, but it's a tragic comedy.
Uh-huh.
And is
he the same guy?
He's not he's not psychotic. He's just this he's a Mr. Rogers type. He has a PBS Access show.
Mm-hmm.
PBS.
I think
show.
I've seen commercials for it.
But he and it's all about him kind of going through a lot of mental stress, and he like loses his mind, and there are parts where you're like, this guy is insane, and there are other parts where you feel good. So he's like, that's like his new thing. He just plays like
being a crazy person,
criminally insane people. But yeah, he was absolutely the best part, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I said, everything else, it was just run of the mill. So, you know.
Can we talk about the product placement now?
The product placement.
That was really blatant.
It was,
It's
especially
like an Adam Sandler
Zillow.
movie. Yeah, Zillow, Olive Garden got a big one.
Olive Garden, it was like
they literally like turned to camera and went, "Have you tried their unlimited pasta and breadsticks? They're very good. Please go to Olive Garden."
Here is an Olive Garden gift card.
Yeah, like a general in the army gives him an Olive Garden.
Yeah, like the man in charge of of all of the military gives James Marsden's character an Olive Garden gift card at the end of the movie for saving the day with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
There is, of course, like this dude who like is a small town cop, has like this nice, beautiful house, but more importantly, he has like this perfect like Chevy truck that's like the newest model.
Yeah,
it is beautiful for like 90% of the movie. Excuse me. I feel like that was like it's the Zillow and the Olive Garden that's the big ones.
Those are the big ones.
Everything else
there's
is
another
minor.
one.
Maybe like Dr. Pepper. I feel like there was some soda thing that they did as well.
Oh, Mellow Yellow.
Was it Mellow
They mentioned
Yellow?
it directly. Yeah, he was like, "Make that a Mellow Yellow or something." And it's like,
I'll take
what?
a Mellow Yellow, please. I am Sonic the Hedgehog.
I love Mellow Yellow.
I love Mellow Yellow.
He did say chili dogs, though.
He said chili. There were a lot of good, like, for the Sonic fans, like in quotation marks, who like the Sonic meme. There are a lot of callbacks to, or like Easter eggs to,
which is nice.
Like old Sonic references, and some new like meme culture references.
Yeah.
So those parts were also really good. Everything else was just kind of boring. It wasn't. I wouldn't say that there was any part where I wasn't enjoying myself, but like, it's not a movie I'd watch again.
No. But I'm glad I went and saw it. Now, our viewing experience was interesting, though.
Yeah, we went
into the theater.
It was on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Or Thursday at like 7:00. So, and the theater we went to is typically like a very packed theater.
Yeah, and there weren't very many people there.
There were probably a total of 20 to 25 cars in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And like, as soon as we both pulled up, we were both like, what is going on?
Yeah,
this is surprising.
Weird.
But we go in, we start to buy our tickets, and we see, because every place now it's doing like you have to pick your seats. It's like assigned seating. So we open up the screen. We did like the self-service. Mm-hmm. And we both see this glorious image of a completely empty theater.
We were going to watch, and I stress the word "were" because it's going to have a turn in a minute.
It'll have a twist.
We were going to see the Sonic movie in an empty theater, and I was very excited about that.
Like one of the biggest screens.
Yeah, it was like gigantic.
At least in the state of Kentucky. And we get into the theater. We get our snacks.
Sitting there.
We get our snacks.
Waiting,
get our drinks.
We're loving it, being alone.
We're making fun of the trailers, laughing out loud, being
jackasses.
Being jackasses because we could.
If there were other people there, it would have been, but there weren't at the time. Then, like the first like actual preview starts.
Out of like the 4 previews. It was so bizarre that there were like 4 movie previews, but then the first one starts, and we are so excited because it's past the start time of the movie.
Because like who's gonna be late to a movie?
Who's gonna be late?
Apparently,
seeing the Sonic
four
movie?
different families.
Yeah, the first trailer starts. Lights go all the way down. First trailer starts, and and like a couple walks in. And
I'm still mad about it.
We looked at each other, but Sam, like I was doing it kind of jokingly because I didn't really care. Like I wish.
No, mine was a joke too. I just was playing it up more than you, I guess.
Yeah. That's what I would have said too. We both looked at each other, and I just started laughing. Sam just stewed in anger. And then, like, probably not but 20 seconds later, a family of 3 walks in. Now, we were in, like, so, like, how movie theaters separate. There's the front, and then there's the aisle, and then there's, like, the rest of the seats. Mm-hmm. We were on the front row of the back. Like, we were right behind, like, the handicap seats.
Yeah.
So we were like right in the middle of the theater, great seats, right in the middle of the row,
right in the action,
in a completely empty theater. Now the first family that walks in goes and sits in the very back in the top corner. The second
Where's
family,
the next one sit, Trace? Where's the next one?
The second family sits literally right behind us, one row right behind us. Third family comes in, but probably a minute or two later, and sits probably 3 seats away from me on my left. Mm-hmm. In an empty theater. That holds, like, I don't know, up to 200 people.
Yeah.
There were a total of 8 people, probably, 8 to 9.
And yet they were clustered around each other.
And, like, 5 of these people sat next to us.
It's madness.
It's dumb.
But I think we've talked about Sonic long enough.
Yeah, we have. We've gone over our 10-minute mark.
Anyway,
yeah. Let's get into it.
What are we talking about, Trace?
We are talking about the dumbest criminals of all time. Of course, like we've done the past couple of episodes, we're doing a shared topic. That's how we're doing it from now on.
Yeah, deal with it.
Nerds. But we're doing a shared topic. We're both talking about the dumbest criminals / crimes of all time.
The dumbest criminal crimes.
The dumbest criminals. I wouldn't have it any other way. Who wants to go first, me or you?
You go for it.
Okay, so I'm reading off of Reader's Digest.
Okay.
My list is Meet the 38 Dumbest Criminals of All Time.
Wow.
The first one is called Caught. Very good, very good name. Police in Ossining.
It's a good start.
Ossining.
Good start.
New York. Police in New York were called to a mini-mart where they found a Blake Leak, 23, trying to break in. They chased Leak through the streets until both cops took a tumble. Seizing the opportunity, Leak sought refuge on the grounds of a large building. The building was the Sing Sing maximum security prison, where he was promptly nabbed by a guard. Wow. So yeah, Blake Leak tried to rob a convenience store or a mini mart.
Went to hide in a prison.
Managed to evade capture from these 2 officers, and then evaded the capture by going into a prison where I guess they just booked him immediately. They were just like, "You're just staying.
You're staying here now.
Yeah, this is your home. This is your new perma home." But yeah, that's Blake Leak. Pretty dumb.
Congratulations, Mr. Lake.
Pretty dumb. Okay, what's yours?
My first one is Timothy Clark thought that the Shop with a Cop charity event was the perfect time for him to steal some items from Walmart. Apparently, he didn't realize the store was filled with cops who were also closely monitoring the surveillance cameras. Clark was caught on the spot.
Why were they moderating the?
I don't know.
Well,
if anything else, there's a bunch of cops there, and he should have known that.
Yeah, but that's weird. It's like we're doing like a shot with a cop thing. It's like let's.
But we're gonna watch you.
But we're also still on duty, and we're still doing our jobs diligently. Like, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be like looking out for those people, but it's weird that they have them like posted in the security office, watching for Tim Clark to come in. That is pretty dumb.
That is dumb.
That is very dumb. Okay. Mine next one is called The Case of the Liquor Store Lothario.
The who?
The Case of the Liquor Store Lothario.
Okay.
I don't know what that word is.
I don't either.
Scottish shoplifter Aaron Morrison was picked up after pinching a bottle of vodka from a liquor store. It didn't take Sherlock Holmes to find Morrison, though. His name and phone number were left with the clerk after asking her out on a date. And then it gives me an ad for another, or it gives me like a little hyperlink for court cases with hilarious names. It's like advertising another list from Reader's Digest.
A Lothario is a man who behaves selfishly and irresponsibly in his sexual relationships with women.
Okay.
Kind of sounds like Wario.
A Lothario.
Lothario.
Sounds like Wario's brother. But not Waluigi.
Is Waluigi Wario's brother?
I don't know if they're related. Who knows, honestly. I feel like there's probably a game theory all about it.
Yeah, let's go check that out.
Yeah. Okay, what's your next one?
Anywho, my next one is some very poor ad placement.
Okay.
Dave was looking for a drug dealer.
Good old Dave. Just Dave.
No, I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. So, he posted on advertisement in Craigslist saying that, he wanted some marijuana. The police saw the ad and arranged a meeting. That dank. And
fucking herb.
met undercover and was immediately arrested.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like
that's not that bad.
I feel like that happens a lot, to be honest.
You know what? Let's skip that one.
Yeah, that one's not
Let's go to
dumb.
the next one.
I'll give you another one. I'll give you a second chance.
Okay. Willie Avery ordered some marijuana from a dealer for $10.
He wanted that dank.
He wanted that dank. When the marijuana dealer never returned, Avery decided to call 911 for help. The rest of the story is self-explanatory.
That's pretty fucking stupid. Now that's dumb.
Called the cops to get my drugs.
My pot dealer.
He ran off with my $10.
He didn't give me my weed. He stole my money.
He didn't give me the dank.
He didn't give me that dank, that herb, that koosh. Okay, that's pretty stupid. There we go. That's just so. I don't know. I'm baffled by that. Just imagine doing a criminal crime, and then being like, "Wait, I didn't get
I'll call the police.
I didn't get my illegal drugs after this crime. I'm gonna call the cops." Okay, my next one. It's called "The Lowest High There Is." For a trio of drug thieves, it was their lucky day. They broke into a home in Silver Springs, Florida, and discovered 3 jars of cocaine. They took it home and snorted the contents. That's when they discovered that the jars were in fact urns, and that they were snorting the cremains of... Is that what cremations, like... The
maybe
cremains?
That's like a fun...
They're being fun
level.
with it.
Yeah.
The cremains of the victim's husband and 2 dogs.
Oh my god.
Oh my fuck.
That's horrible.
See, I feel like if it was just like the husband, we would be like, oh, that's funny. But the fact that it's also two dogs.
That's just horrible.
It is absolutely horrible. They were just sitting there. That's so funny to me, though, is they're sitting there like snorting lines of these cremains. And they're like, dude, I'm not feeling anything from this. I am
I
not.
wonder what's wrong with it. How did they discover that?
I don't know how you don't notice that it, like, unless this, I would assume it's an older woman. Unless this older woman was keeping her husband's and pet's ashes in, like, mason jars.
Or like those little bags.
Yeah, an urn is pretty recognizable.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't think cocaine is normally stored in urns.
Yeah, I don't think, like, Pablo Escobar was shipping
urns of coke,
urns of coke into the United States. Anyway, what's your next one?
My next one, it's manually complicated.
Okay.
Roy and Jessica Fritz had to get to Nevada, and the best way to do that, according to them, was to hitchhike, kill the driver, and steal a car. The only problem was that the car was stick shift, and they didn't know how to drive stick shift.
So they still killed the guy?
I guess so.
That's pretty
they
funny.
Were stuck in like the desert, possibly.
That's pretty funny. Just imagine, like you're hitchhiking, but they decide to kill the guy before checking to see. Like you can see if it's like a manual or not. I think it's pretty easy to tell. There's not like
well, maybe when you're in your like murder.
When you're in your murder
state of mind.
The murder mind.
The murder mind.
The best as seen on TV product, the murder mind. It's just like the thinking cap, but for like sadistic psychopaths.
Yeah.
That is pretty crazy. That's like the funniest.
I bet they were so like, oh my god, what did we do?
Oh, the egg on my face.
I killed this guy.
I killed this guy and I can't even drive his car. Oh my god. That's fucking hilarious.
I do have a bonus one.
Okay, give it over.
Because it's related to your earn one.
Okay. Hand it over to me.
It was my brother actually sent me this a little while ago.
Okay.
It's just the headline for a news article. A burglar contracted syphilis and 2 types of herpes after snorting more than 50 grams of dried human semen in the mistaken belief that it was illegal drugs.
What? First of all.
Okay.
Okay, first of all.
Well, what's first? What do we want to address first?
How does one collect dried semen?
I don't know. I don't want to get too much into the thick of this, but I assume it's like you collect the regular semen and then you like
just leave it out. You dry age it like you do beef.
I don't know if that's quite it, but like, isn't there like
you put it in a food dehydrator
or something? Yeah, like that.
But why?
Why would you? I don't know.
Also, this is my other question.
Okay.
How did it become powder form to make this person think that it was, I would assume, cocaine? Or it could have been like crystal looking and he thought it was like a crack rock? Or like maybe meth crystal?
I don't know.
Did you say math?
I said meth.
Oh, I thought you just straight up said math.
I might have accidentally said math, but
I know what you're saying. I just thought it was funny. That's my best guess. Like, that's my best explanation is maybe it was like kind of crystal looking. They thought it was maybe a crack rock or a meth crystal.
God, it's horrible. Also.
Because I don't think that it would. It's funny. Like that's your comeuppance.
I hope that's real though, and not like fake.
Is the article from The Onion?
No, I can't see where it's from, and it doesn't sound.
Then it's definitely real.
It's real then.
It's real. If it's not, every other news source except for The Onion is 100% verifiably real.
Yeah, it's always true.
Yeah, especially clickhole.
Yeah, click hole. Very, very good.
Next one I've got is the case of the not-so-devoted dad.
Okay.
Bring Your Child to Work Day is a long-honored tradition that allows children to see what goes on in the business world while also getting the chance to watch their parents ply their trade. One crook brought his young son along with him on a job, which happened to be robbing a pet shop. He was caught soon after, minus something important, his son. So not only did he endanger his child by taking him on a robbery, but he also was neglectful and forgot his son and left him behind.
I mean, that's not surprising, right?
I mean, no. If you're gonna rob a pet store with your son, I don't think you have like a dad of world's best dad mug at home.
Yeah.
I think this was like a weekend thing where his divorced wife let him see his son for a weekend. On another note, when I was growing up, there was never, and I mean never, either A, a career day, or B, a bring your child to work day like I always see in movies.
No, I never had one of those.
I feel like there might have been a career day. But no, I don't think there was.
I don't think I had one.
I'm thinking of show and tell. Because I think one time someone brought in something about their dad because their dad was a pilot. But yeah, I was never taken to work, which I don't think I would have been because both of my parents were police officers.
Yeah, so it would be like
I like go on a ride along and they give they give like 8-year-old me a gun.
You got a bulletproof vest on,
but it's so big on me.
Yeah, it's almost like you're like
I can't walk
in it.
I can't walk properly. I like fall over every couple of seconds.
You look like a turtle.
But then I just start like using like the baton to beat the shit out of some dude.
Yeah, get him.
Get on the fucking ground. Oh, sorry, I got too into it.
It's okay.
Okay, what's your next one?
Fitness first.
Okay.
Not only is staying fit good for your body, it also ensures that you won't get stuck in the opening you busted through to rob that store. At least that's what an English fellow by the name of Webster discovered recently. So he tried to break into a place, like busted a hole in the door, and then he was too big to fit through it.
Do you think that it was like a doggy door and he just kind of misjudged the size? Or do you think like
I wonder how long he was stuck there also.
This is what I want to know. How big is he? Like, is he just some small dude who thought that he could squeeze in like a cat? Or is he like a guy at like our size?
Well, the implication is that he's like a guy our size. And he like busted a little hole and thought he could just like squeeze through like an octopus.
That would be so... I would pay money to see... Just to like sit on the other side of the street, on the other sidewalk.
And watch it.
And just watch what he does. Just watch him get stuck in like this door. I like to imagine he's like crawling through a pet door, like a little doggy door.
Like a doggy door.
And he gets
That's pretty
stuck.
good.
Okay, my next one is watch where you're going. As two men waited in line at the coffee shop to pay their bill, a third cut in front of them. He threw a drink at the clerk and demanded all the money from the till. Temporarily surprised, the men quickly recovered and handcuffed the crook. Apparently, in his rush, the criminal didn't notice that they were police officers in full uniform.
In full uniform?
Here's the thing. That's not even
easy to see a cop.
That's not even the dumbest part to me. When you typically rob a place, you have a weapon.
A hot coffee, man.
You have like a little knife or a big knife. You have a gun of some sort. You have a claymore.
A sword or mine. Either one.
The sword or the remotely activated mine.
Or a claymore taped to a claymore.
That's fucking deadly. That's like William Wallace, like in the present day. Or even if you can't afford a gun, it's either that, like, maybe you dye a water gun, or you use a toy
use a
gun.
fake gun. We're not suggesting ways to rob people, by the way.
Well, this is all stuff I've seen in movies, so...
Yeah, so it probably doesn't work.
Or, like, the other thing, if you can't even get your hands on, like, a fake gun, you just walk in with your hand in your pocket and point it at them, and you're like, I got a gun in my pocket.
Well, I have bad news for you, Trace. None of that would have worked in this situation.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that's what is typically done. Never in my life have I heard of someone tried to rob a store by throwing a drink in someone's face. That is, at best, a mild inconvenience.
Yeah,
unless it's like piping hot coffee, like the coffee that like fused that old woman's legs together from the McDonald's when she dropped it.
God.
If it's like that hot, then maybe. But then that person is going to be like, their face is going to be melting and they're going to be on the floor screaming.
But there's also like 2 other people in there, even if they're not cops.
Yeah,
you just blew your weapon.
Yeah, that's like you walk up with 3 cups in your hand, and you put them on the thing, and first of all, the cashier's like, "What are you doing? These are like loose drinks." You're like, "Wait, just a second." You throw 2 of them in the face of the other bystanders.
Well, it goes like bullet time.
Yeah, and then as they're like screaming on the floor because it's like piping hot coffee, that's when you threaten the cashier with a third one. That way, just in case if someone else tries to be a hero, you have ammo still.
Tries to be a hero.
No one tried to be a hero. I've got
piping hot coffee.
I've got a lukewarm apple cider. Or maybe it was really cold, and the cashier just didn't like cold things. That's dumb. Especially if your only weapon is coffee and you're against like 2 cops.
Well, he's got his right and his left.
He's got law and order.
Thunder and lightning.
Yeah. Tickets to the gun show. Anyway, what's your next one?
Some really bad timing.
Okay.
Oh, this is a Hungarian name. I apologize when I say this wrong. Virgin Ujlaki, a Hungarian fencing champion, was practicing fencing for an upcoming competition when Pal Nagy climbed in through the window of Ujlaki's house to rob it. Ujlaki attacked him with a sword and pointed its blade against his throat, asking him to call the police. He did. He was arrested 20 minutes later.
Here's the thing, is I don't really blame the criminal, because how is he, like, supposed to know
that there's a sword master inside?
A professional swordsman, a trained swordsman in the art of swords inside. It's like you can never really tell if you're gonna run into a house with some frail old woman or Ujlaki,
like a 350-pound man made of solid muscle,
a 350-pound redneck with 2 shotguns strapped to his back, who has been raring to shoot someone.
He's been wanting to use these guns since he bought them.
Yeah. That's my thing. I can't really. Now it is very unlucky, and he did kind of get duped in this situation. But you can't really call him dumb, because it could have very easily been like an old woman, and he could have very easily just taken her valuables.
Well, the worst part is he doesn't like injure him and then call the cops. He like gets him in like a submissive position and has him call the cops, I think.
That's badass, to be honest.
He's got like the sword to his throat.
He's got like a rapier like stuck to his throat. And he says, "Call the police."
Call the police.
Not for me, for you.
For you, and then he kills him.
See, if the burglar would have had a nice hot cup of coffee, he would have been rendered useless.
Can't fence people without your eyes.
Or your face.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
What's your next one?
Oh, shit. I forgot. I wanted to tell you this. This kind of also inspired the reason that I wanted to talk about criminals. Like, this is what I thought of.
What was it?
There is a bank up by where I live in on the campus that got robbed yesterday.
Oh.
And some of my family, my mom, hey mom, I know you're listening. My mom, my uncle, and my aunt came up to visit me. Mm-hmm. And they got here up around like 12 in the afternoon. I was getting ready, brushing my teeth, the whole 9 yards. And they called me. And my mom, I'd gotten a text from like our school's text alert system. And it said, let me see if I can see exactly what it said, because I don't want to misread it. I want to tell this story to the best of my ability.
Okay.
No, I deleted it. My bad. It said, BB&T Bank has been robbed. Suspect is white male with a gray hoodie, blue jeans. Avoid the area, call 911 if you know anything.
And you look down.
I wasn't wearing a hoodie, but I was wearing a gray sweatshirt. And I had my blue jeans on. And I was like, I looked down, and I was like, should I change? I was like, nah, I'm not going to change. I'll be fine. Now, here's the thing. I was also wearing a black beanie. So I looked a little bit more like a robber. I go to my elevator. My mom calls me, and she's like, what did you do? And I was like, what? She's like, there's police everywhere. Did you rob a bank? I go, oh, you saw the text. No, I got that too. And we talked for a little bit. She was like, okay, well, we're here. I get out to the car. My uncle gets out. We're talking for a second. And there are cops. There are like 4 to 5 cop cars going around the parking lot. God. And he's like, what's going on? I said, what do you mean? He goes, what's going on with the cops? And I said, there was a bank robbery, like you all said. And he goes, oh, there was? My mom didn't get the text. She said that as a joke.
Oh my God, what?
And the thing is I was still matching the description of this dude who just robbed a bank. And she asked if I had robbed a bank. Now, the even funnier part is, as I walked out, first of all, apparently, I saw it too, but as I walked out, there were 2 cop cars that were driving around the parking lot. As I'm walking out, they slow down and start looking at me.
Well, you did match the description, didn't you?
Pretty close.
Why didn't you just change?
Because
what is wrong with you?
I didn't know that there were going to be like 12 cop cars circling my parking lot, and then also like 30 more. I wasn't planning on staying in the area. We were going up to Cincinnati.
Sure.
But yeah, and I could just tell because they got on the radio. I could tell the first thing they said on the radio was the suspect wearing a black beanie and have glasses. I was so scared that they were going to stop me. But that yeah,
pretty funny.
That is it was great.
Honestly, that would have made the story even better
if they would have stopped me.
Yeah, because you didn't rob a bank.
I didn't. I didn't. Honestly, I think I would have told you, first of all.
Whoa, really? I'm so flattered.
Look, we've already talked about this with the whole money tree thing.
Yeah,
I would tell you.
Let's not open that can of worms.
You jerk. I remember you wouldn't tell me about the money tree.
Come on. Anyway,
yeah. I robbed a bank yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Back to criminals. Okay, it's my turn.
Yes.
This one's called the Telltale Trousers. Oh,
interesting.
One last detail.
What else?
If someone would have come into my dorm room the day prior I had worn a gray hoodie.
Did you have multiple burlap sacks?
No,
like a ski mask.
I had multiple burlap sacks, ski masks, a gun, and on the burlap sacks there were cartoon dollar signs.
Yeah. No, you didn't have a gun. You had multiple cups of hot coffee.
Yeah, they were all piping hot and laying on my. But there was a gray hoodie on my closet floor because I had worn it the day prior. And it looked like I'd come back from robbing a bank, peeled off the hoodie, put on a new shirt, and left.
You know, that would be pretty smart to wear not a gray hoodie, but like change like just a little bit so that you're like...
Well, what you do is you wear very distinctive. So like you would want to wear something vibrant and bright because it's like if like my gray sweatshirt that I was wearing was enough to just make sure that to make those cops just stop for a second and be like, could that be him? But then they moved on. But if I had like, well, I didn't actually rob the bank. If the robber had been wearing like a tie-dye shirt and like a crazy mask, as soon as you leave the bank, you put on something else, like a different shirt.
Yeah. Take
off the mask, and then...
You change your mask.
Yeah, you put on a different mask.
You go rob a different bank.
For the first one, you wear, like, a kooky mask. For the second one, or as soon as you leave, you change into, like, more of a bank robber mask, so, like, a ski mask or a balaclava. But, yeah, it looked like I had peeled off a gray hoodie and then left. I'm glad no one, like, checked my dorm.
Yeah.
I'm glad my roommate didn't like see a gray hoodie on the ground and be like...
It's a good thing we're not like recording this or anything.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we're not recording this because Sam, I did rob that bank.
Anyway.
When an attempted robbery at a Lowe's home improvement store went awry, Milton J. Hodges fled across the street and jumped a fence right into the Cypress Cove Nudist Resort and Spa. As the Orlando Sentinel pointed out, as one of the only folks wearing clothing, Hodges was easily spotted by the police. Yeah, see, if he had the money with him, that's very hard to peel off because then you're just a naked man carrying a whole load of change. But if it went awry, like it means it went awry, like he didn't get the money. Then as soon as you see that everyone's naked, you just rip off your clothes.
Peel those clothes off.
And put them in a trash can, and you're home. Yeah. You're scot-free. Okay.
My next one is coffin burglar.
Oh, fuck.
A burglar broke into an antique store in the middle of the night. When the police arrived, they found the burglar lying inside a coffin, pretending to be dead. How do you like that? Is that a good cover?
So, I would imagine since the coffin was in the antique store, it was empty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the cops were coming into the store, and he was like, oh my god, what am I going to do? He hops in the coffin and just acts like he's dead.
That's pretty funny. Like, if he would have had time to close it... Well, I feel like if I were looking in an antique store... and I see a coffin.
The giant human-shaped box.
That would be the first place I look. So I was gonna say that that's pretty good. If he was like, if he could have like, if it was more hidden from view, then that's a very good idea.
Yeah, it's like a step down from a closet.
Yeah, it is literally in that situation where the coffin is one of the most out of place things. It is literally the first place anyone would look. It's like playing hide and seek with a toddler who hides behind the curtains and you can see their shoes under it. My one is called P.S. Nobody Move. It's the worst possible time to faint. In the middle of robbing a bank, of course. But that's what happened to Beaver Creek, Ohio. Oh shit, Beaver Creek, Ohio. Maybe the BB&T got robbed after the Beaver Creek Ohio bank got robbed. The teller called 911 and asked for medics, but you have to applaud the man's stick to stick-to-itiveness. While the ambulance was en route, the suspect handed a note to the teller demanding all her cash. So he was going into the bank to rob it. He said, or I guess he didn't.
Did he faint?
Right before he was able to pass the note saying, like, I have a gun, give me the money, or something like that, he faints. The teller, being a fine and upstanding citizen of Beaver Creek, Ohio, calls an ambulance. The criminal wakes up and then is like, I'm
robbing this place.
I've already started. I can't stop. I gotta rob this place. He probably didn't know that there was an ambulance on the way.
Yeah, probably not.
And then he passes the note. And then he's caught. And then he's caught immediately. Because there is first responders en route to the scene. That's funny, though. I mean, it's not... I don't think he knew, so I wouldn't call him dumb, either. I would call him dedicated.
Yes.
Okay, what's your next one?
Ambitious.
Ambitious, perhaps. That's all the words I know. I only know 2 words.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, what's your next one?
The DHL Bandits.
Okay, what's that mean?
Crystal Evans and Dennis McClure.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that Denise? I don't know.
Is there an E at the end of it?
There's not.
Okay,
so
I think it's Dennis then.
Okay, it's Dennis. Were on a mission to prevent the analysis of their urine samples.
Okay.
To accomplish their mission, they rifled through a DHL truck, found their urine samples, and destroyed them before sneaking away. Not only were they caught, but they had to give a second set of urine samples, which tested positive for meth.
Jeez.
The ironic part is that the first samples were actually clean.
Oh, fuck. That is dumb.
I'd like it if they weren't clean and they just told him that to make him feel even worse about it.
The ironic part is we fucked with them. We told them that the first one was clean, but they actually weren't. They were positive for even more
absolutely
drugs.
Contaminated with meth.
Meth, cocaine, weed.
Yeah, all
that
of them.
dank. This one's called IOU. It's a little short one.
Okay.
Graham Price of South Wales ripped off a bank where he worked, but he wasn't completely duplicitous.
Come again?
You know, that word.
Yeah, that one.
He left a note in the safe, borrowed £7 million, signed Graham Pierce. Oh, idiots. That's so dumb. Like, I think the best way, if you worked for a bank to rob it, is to convince one of your friends to pretend to be a robber when you're being the teller. That way, you can wait to press the police alarm so that gives your friend time to get away.
Oh, you need a man on the inside.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like Graham Price, he wanted to rob this bank.
Yeah.
But the perfect way to do it, if you're Graham Price, get a friend. The only downside is you have to split the money now. So instead of the $7 million,
not necessarily. There's ways to get around that.
He's like, okay, we're gonna split this money, right? And then you shoot him in the face. You shoot your friend.
It's like in The Dark Knight.
Yeah. And then he just burns the money. But yeah, if you work for a bank and you want to rob it, you make sure you're a teller, and because then you also don't give them like the money with the tracking devices in it or the die packs. You get a friend, they rob the bank.
Yeah, step 1, make a friend.
Make a friend. Make a criminal friend. Go to the south side of whatever major city you live close to. There's probably bound to be some criminals there. I don't know. There's criminals pretty much everywhere in big cities.
Skulk down some alleys.
Ask children. No one suspects a child. You just have like a 8-year-old kid running in with a shotgun, like shooting the roof. Everyone get down! This is a wobbly. But yeah, get a friend. You make sure that the cops come later than they should. You also make sure that they don't get the booby-trapped money.
Yeah.
And then you're like scot-free. You are scot-free. Or if you do give them that money, you make sure that they know that they're getting that money. Because if you don't, then it raises suspicion. And then also you have to be very conservative with your spending from there on out. You can only purchase stuff with cash because then they will get really suspicious if your bank account suddenly has half of the recent stolen money.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it, Graham. Hey, Graham Pierce, that's how you be a criminal.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, you give us one more and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay. My next one is related to the child. This one has a children.
Okay.
Randy Lewis decided one night to go out drinking with his 3 kids.
Beautiful. I love it already.
He got wasted, drugged, and to top it all off, decided it would be a smart idea to make his 10-year-old a designated driver by handing him the keys.
This sounds like this sounds like some shit from like the fucking 60s. Sounds like something like our grandparents were like, yeah, back in that time, my dad would drink at a bar and have me drive him home. I was 12.
Yeah. It built character.
It built character.
The poor boy wrecked the car, and our friend Randy went to jail.
I thought you were about to say went to heaven. He like forgot to put a seatbelt on. The kid runs into a tree. Did I
tell you about the time that we were coming home from something, me, my dad, and my brother, and we were at the top of our driveway. You know our driveway. Right?
Yeah. I know how it's laid out. It's long.
Yeah, it's a long driveway. My brother's like 10, and I'm like 6. And my dad's like, why don't you drive the car out, Lee?
That's funny.
And the whole time I'm like, this is a bad idea. Me, a 6-year-old.
Daddy,
being like, this is a bad idea. And he floors it into a tree.
See, now when my parents would like let us drive when we were small, it would be in our subdivision. Like, you know how the subdivision at my mom's house is kind of laid out.
Yeah.
When we were younger, they would sit us on their laps. They would control the gas pedals, and then we would steer, and they would mostly help. But that's what we would do. We weren't given full reins of the car, Terry. I'm not even. At that point, I'm like barely a 10-year-old. At that point, barely understands like any like regular concepts.
Yeah,
doesn't get how the world works at all. But you think, Terry, I don't typically call you by your first name, but Terry, you think that giving this child basically a weepon in this case,
kind of, and
saying,
after we wrecked, I was just like, can I get out now?
You just like throw up on yourself. You're like, I want to go inside.
It wasn't like a hard hit. Don't get me wrong. That it was like we ran into the tree. It wasn't like 50 miles an hour. It was like maybe 20 or so. But it hurt the car.
Okay.
It's not like it just dented it.
You said you said Florida, and I was just sitting there thinking like, I was like, oh no, because there was one time, where it's actually happened a couple times where as I'm backing up, and this is what happened when I ruined my brother's Jeep. I didn't ruin it; it got fixed. As I'm backing up, I accidentally, like the smallest bit, touched the accelerator, and my car shoots backwards.
I know I had a similar thing. I was backing out of my friend Max's drive, but there were like a bunch of people over, so we had like parked on the lawn and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was backing up, and I guess I wasn't like paying great attention.
Yeah.
And I was going right into the mailbox, and my like sensor on my car like beeps, and it like makes me panic. So I kind of like hit the gas a little for some reason, and I back into it.
Did it break?
No, it didn't break the mailbox, but it did like scratch the back of my car a little. It's still there.
That's funny. I thought you were gonna say like you hit and run someone's car.
No.
You scraped someone's car and you were just like, oh fuck. That's funny though. Okay, let's wrap this up before we
Anyway, that's been criminal crimes.
Criminal crime time. There's the title. Ka-ching. Okay, today in history.
Yeah, what happened?
Ties in perfectly with our thing.
Okay.
Today is March the 2nd, of course.
Okay.
In 1867, Jesse James's gang robs a bank in Savannah, Missouri. One person.
There you go. Was he wearing a gray hoodie?
One person is killed. Yeah, that's actually right here. What I'm seeing is he's got blue jeans on. He's got a gray hoodie, and he's got all of his gangs. They have holsters, but their holsters have cups of piping hot coffee.
Yeah.
Instead of guns. They just threw all of that coffee on the one person and it killed him.
The fastest barista in the West.
Jesse James. Okay. That's a totally true fact.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's kick it over to Sam's Holiday Corner and wrap this thing up.
Yeah, today is March 2nd,
Of course,
right?
of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Today is Old Stuff Day.
Just anything old you got. Respect it, love it, kiss it.
It says there are a few reasons why Old Stuff Day may be celebrated. One reason for the day relates to the phrase "the same old stuff," a response often given when people ask "what's new." Do you ever say that?
I never say same old stuff.
I don't think I say "what's new" either.
Yeah, hey, what's new?
Also, that's like wrong. What's new?
Same old
the
stuff.
Same old stuff.
It's kind of clashes. It clashes. It's like
yeah.
I don't know the correct
When celebrated for this reason, it is meant to be a day when new things are tried and new adventures taken. So the answer of the same old stuff does not need to be given again.
So is this basically like a Grandparents' Day Part 2? Zinger, hey-o.
I guess it could be.
The
day may also be a time to appreciate all things old, antique, and vintage.
Yep.
For an item to be considered an antique, it must be at least 100 years old. For an item to be considered vintage, it must be at least 30 years old. Oh shit! I'm getting close to being vintage.
So if you're born in 1990, you're vintage now. That's crazy. The 90s are vintage.
Yeah.
It was just last year that the 80s were still vintage.
I can't wait for like all the 90s nostalgia movies to start happening, where like everybody's like got like pastel colors on.
Colors.
They all have those cups with that weird like design on it.
I love that design, to be honest.
It's super cool.
There's just so much denim.
Yeah, lots of denim.
Parachute
I can't
pants.
wait for just like period films of the 90s. We haven't had too many of those.
It's like there's going to be like a Stranger Things but for the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be like everything's going to be like how everything recently is all about the 80s. It's just all going to be the fucking 90s.
And then 10 years after that it'll be the 2000s.
I'm going to tell you, as soon as the 2000s become vintage, I don't think I'm going to consume any media because the 2000s absolutely suck.
Well, what was it? I don't want to get too into this. We're running long anyway.
Yeah, it's like
we'll pick this up. We'll pick this discussion up
maybe
next
we
week.
could talk about like decades next time.
Well, let's do it. Why not?
Let's do it. I just
This is the first time people will know what we're talking about a week in advance.
Or maybe soon. We don't know. We'll figure it out. We might forget
We'll see what
between now
happens.
and then.
Anyway,
This has been from our perspective. This has been from our perspective, episode 56. Thank you all for listening. You can find us pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. Of course, if we're not on a specific platform and you want us to be, let us know, and we'll try our darndest to get on that platform. Also, if you got any friends who you think would like the show, give it over to them. Let them try it out for themselves. Word of mouth is the best way to get this thing spread around. And of course, we love making it. So, we always want more people to listen to it. Also, if you have any ideas for a topic, let us know. Within reason, we'll try to talk about it. Other than that, we also have social medias you can follow us on if you don't get enough of us from this hour of us talking. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at FOP_pod and Facebook at From Our Perspective. We also have a YouTube channel. We post the audio on there. We don't post anything else really. But you can find us there from Our Perspective also. Other than that, I think that's everything. Other than that, this has been From Our Perspective. We post the podcast every Monday, and we will see you next Monday. I've been Trace.
And I've been Sam.
Goodbye.
Toodaloo.